A boot loop occurs when a switch repeatedly restarts and never fully boots up, getting stuck in a cycle of trying to start over and over again. This can be frustrating, so I'll get right to it. In this episode of Cisco Tech Talk, I'll show you how to troubleshoot a CBS, Catalyst 1200, or Catalyst 1300 switch if it fails to boot properly. Next. Before I start, I need to point out 3 models of switches that cannot follow these recovery steps. If you have a CBS 258TD, a CBS 258PPD, or a Catalyst 1200 8TD switch, you'll need to contact technical support. These switches do not have a standard RJ45 console port, which is needed for troubleshooting. See the link in the description for contact information. For all other switches, you will need to connect your computer to the switch using a console cable. Console cables, also known as rollover cables, allow for serial communication between the switch and the computer. A traditional console cable has an RJ45 connector on one end, which plugs into the switch's console port, and an RJ45 connector on the other end to connect to the computer's Ethernet port. Since most modern computers do not have an RJ45 port, a USB to RJ45 console cable is often used. This cable has a USB connector for the computer on one end and an RJ45 connector for the switch's console port on the other. To communicate with the switch, you will also need to download communication software on your computer. I will use Putty. Once your computer is connected to the switch via the console cable, launch the Putty application. To configure Putty, you need to determine the appropriate serial line for your computer, which can be found under the Ports section in the Device Manager of your computer. For instance, on this laptop, the USB serial port is labeled as COM4. Enter this information into the serial line field in your Putty application. Next, adjust the speed to 115/200 and ensure that the connection type is set to serial. After completing these configurations, click the Open button in Putty to establish a connection to your Cisco Catalyst switch through the Command Line Interface, CLI. Once connected, you'll be able to observe the reboot process of the switch. Watch for the message Auto Boot in 2 seconds. Press Return or Escape to abort and enter PROM. Press the Escape key to initiate the recovery process. After accessing the startup menu, you'll be presented with several options. To swap the active image with the inactive one, which will prevent you from losing your current configuration, select Option 1 Image Menu. To proceed with Option 1, select it, and you will be given the choice to swap to inactive image or go back. Select Option 1. Confirm the swap by pressing the Y key, and the switch will reboot using the inactive firmware. If the reboot worked, that's great. If not, another option is to factory reset via the CLI. This will erase all configurations. To begin, access the startup menu once more by pressing the Escape key when you see the Auto Boot message. In the startup menu, choose Option 2, Erase Configuration for the factory reset. When prompted with, "Are you sure?" press the Y key, followed by the Enter key to confirm. To finalize the recovery process and trigger the factory reset, select Option 4, Exit Startup Menu, which will reboot the switch and restore factory defaults. There you have it, 2 options to recover your switch. If the factory reboot and reset methods don't work, you can open a support case with your Cisco technical support team. If you've never opened a case before or want some guidance, see the link in the description for details. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.